So, you want to get Master Rank in Brawl Stars. The only problem, you're a hard-stuck Legendary, or Mythic, or Diamond. You want to flex that you are the best Brawl Stars player in your friend group. Another problem, you don't actually have a friend group. Well, regardless of that, achieving Master Rank, the former highest rank in Brawl Stars, is easy actually, and this is how you do it. To be straightforward with you, the easiest way to hit Masters is to push with friends. As we all know, the only reason you are number one on the leaderboard right now is because you keep getting bad randoms. Well, with friends, now your teammates are non-bad, non-randoms. But thankfully, even if you don't have friends, there are still ways to do this. For example, Discord servers. There, you can meet someone with a similar skill level and similar goals, getting rid of those bad randoms without needing to have a social life. Awesome. But what about all the solo queue warriors looking to achieve that juicy master rank? Well, there's still ways to rank up easily, and it's mostly concerned with picking and banning the right brawlers. Let's talk about picking first. Most other master rank guides on YouTube say to study the meta to know which brawlers are good and which you can disregard. In reality, this is both boring and unnecessary. You're going to have to play tons of games to hit masters, and eventually you'll pick up the meta just by playing the game. Here's how I, a master rank player, go about it. As you climb the lower ranks, keep a mental record of all the maps you come across. As you do so, assign a brawler that you will pick by default for each map, with one or two backup brawlers in case they get banned or picked by another player. This way, you're not analyzing every game which brawler you should pick. But if there's anything you choose to listen to in this video, make it this. You can't just pick any old brawler. It needs to fit at least a couple of these criteria, if not most of them. Be good at the brawler. I mention this first because it is by far the most important of these criteria. I can't tell you how many times I've jumped into a rank match, saw my cult with a Bronze 2 mastery, and proceeded to go 0-6. If you suck at a brawler, it doesn't matter if it's good on the map or quote-unquote in the meta, you're still going to suck. The second criteria is that the brawler must be at least decent on the map. If we queue ranked, get out in the open as the map, and I see you locking El Primo, I am going to report you for throwing. Again, as you play, you'll become accustomed to which brawlers are good on which maps, but until then, here's some general rules to follow. On open maps, you should pick marksmen and long-range brawlers, because they have lots of room to snipe their enemies. On maps with lots of walls, throwers and tanks will thrive because tanks can use walls to close distance, meanwhile throwers can hide behind them, like the little cowards thrower mains are. Tanks are also good on maps with lots of bushes. You can sneak through them to get closer to frail enemy brawlers, and the best part, they'll never see it coming. These maps are especially good for tanks with high burst damage, like Shelly and Bull. And the third and least important criteria is for the brawlers to be maxed out, meaning high level, gears, gadgets, star powers, and hypercharges. Being one or two levels under the rest of the lobby usually isn't too bad. Just try to avoid playing your Power 9 brawlers with no gadgets or star powers if you can. Another elephant in the room is support brawlers. These brawlers' main purpose is to heal your teammates or help them out in some other way, hence the name support brawlers. You might hesitate to pick them due to the name of the class. I don't want to support my randoms, they're bad, I want to carry them. But in reality, supporters can definitely carry their teams in the right scenario. I mean, look at Gus, Gray, and Byron. They're supporters, but still do tons of damage. Don't get too caught up in brawler classes. Really, the only distinctions you can make are close range, mid-range, long range, and thrower, with the close range being divided into assassins and tanks. And knowing when to pick which of these range types is really what you want to master if you want to become a master rank player. Okay, now that you've got the perfect formula for picking brawlers, what's next? Banning, Tanner. I want to know what to ban. That's right, there's also a strategy to ban the perfect brawlers, and the method for choosing your ban is pretty similar to choosing your pick. I'm only going to mention this quickly because I think it should be obvious, but only ban brawlers you think the opponent might play. That means no Doug, no Pam, and anyone else like that has a really low use rate. Conversely, if there's a really OP brawler that's wreaking havoc on ranked during your push, they are usually good bans. Historic examples of these include Morris on release of his Hyper, Frank when he got his rework, and Kenji on release. However, it is important to note that if your team wins the coin toss and has first pick, you can sometimes leave these brawlers if a teammate wants to play them. That way, your team will have the OP brawlers and theirs won't. Another kind of brawler you might want to ban is a hard counter. A hard counter brawler is a brawler that has an extremely favorable matchup into your brawler. Essentially, every time you try to 1v1 a hard counter brawler, you will lose. Let's say you want to pick Grom, a very good brawler with lots of great matchups. A common ban for you would be Mortis. If you've ever tried 1v1ing a Mortis as Grom, you'd know that it's probably easier to get accepted into MIT than it is to beat Mortis as Grom. The fourth and final criteria is an extension of the last one, a hard counter to, not a specific brawler, but to you as a player. Think about it. If every time you match up into Hank, you descend into a fit of rage, Tyler 1 style, because you just can't seem to win, then maybe you should be banning Hank in Ranked. Your rank, as well as your phone, will thank you. Okay, so now you're actually in the match. What do? You've picked the perfect brawler, your opponent's team is the worst you could have possibly made it with your bans. Well, at this point, the best you can do is just play well. You theoretically have at least a good matchup if you followed my tips, and the ranking up should begin. I can't give you tips on how to play each individual game, because that depends on so many factors, but I can give some miscellaneous tips to further your chances. With the introduction of the big purple button, Brawl Stars has now become partially a game about how to abuse and avoid it. Generally, if your opponent activates their hyper, you probably want to run. They most likely have their super as well, and won't hesitate to use it. On the other hand, if you activate purple mode, do it at a time that minimizes chances for the opponents to escape and maximize the chance of being able to hit multiple opponents during your hyper. Additionally, coordinating your hyper charges with your teammates by activating them at the same time is a deadly combo that often wins games. Think about it. Would you rather fight 3 guys one at a time, or fight 3 guys all at the same time? Except for these annoying gray ones, the walls in Brawl Stars are breakable by many different supers, gadgets, star powers, and more. And, as William Shakespeare said, to break or not to break, that is the question. Well, Mr. Shakespeare, here is your answer. You want to break walls when playing against a thrower if you aren't one yourself, or if you're a long-range brawler going against tanks, breaking walls is advantageous. And this is more game mode specific, but in Brawl Ball, breaking walls near the enemy goal is very helpful, making getting a goal much easier for you and your team. You do not want to break walls if you are a thrower. Walls are your friends, like socially awkward people at parties. If you're going against brawlers with a longer range than you, keeping walls is also ideal. The way you interact with the map in other ways can also help or hurt your chances of winning. Most maps in Brawl Stars tend to be divided into 3 sections, or lanes. Generally, each team member will take 1 lane, leading to 3 mini 1v1s. The reality is that you are not forced into a specific lane, and you can pick and choose which one you go into at any point in the game. Realizing this and using it to your advantage can help you get some easy wins. Switching lanes due to a matchup is one way to do this. Let's say the map is Bells Rock, and I'm playing Grom again, and I didn't ban Mortis because I didn't watch this video, and the other team picked him. The game starts, and me and Mortis both go to the left lane. Chances are, Mortis dashes across, kills me instantly, and now our team's at a huge disadvantage. The next round starts, and instead, I go to the right lane. Now, the teammate I switched with, who likely has a better matchup, will face the Mortis, and if he wants to kill me again, he has to get through my teammates. This is an example of a successful lane switch. Another kind of lane switch may be due to a feature on the map. If you've picked Chuck on the map bridge too far, and you spawn on one of the side lanes, you're going to want to switch to the middle at some point. This way, you can set up your rail, do regular Chuck activities, and win with ease. Now, keep in mind, even if you do everything here with ease, you won't become Juan Carlos overnight. Well, maybe you don't want to. The most important way to improve at Ranked is to play Ranked. I know, practice makes perfect is the most overused and boring piece of advice I could give, but it's true. Notice how all the pros have tons of trophies and tons of wins on their accounts. They didn't just wake up one day and say, alright, today I'm going to become a pro Brawl Stars player, and magically get good. If that happened, then everyone would be a pro, and you wouldn't be watching this video. Well, there you have it. The only Brawl Stars guide you'll need to hit Master Rank. I guess with Pro Rank in the game, Master Rank is a bit more obsolete, but it's still kind of flex, and just fun to grind for, especially if you play with friends. To know if this video is actually helpful, please leave a comment. You can say whatever, such as what your rank is, which tips helped, which didn't, or what about this video was good or not good. So once again, thank you for watching. Now you know that hitting Master Rank in Brawl Stars is easy actually, and that is how you do it. And maybe while you're at it, you can like and subscribe as well. I don't know, you don't have to. I'm honestly just saying this stuff so I can get the video to be 10 minutes long because that would be nice. So have a nice day. You can click off now. Bye bye.